mayyanantamahāmbhodhau viśvapota itastataḥ bhramati svāntavātena mamāstyasahiṣṇutā. In me, the shoreless, limitless ocean, the arc of the universe moves here and there, driven by the wind of its own mind. I am not impatient about it. The wave in this analogy is creation with various names and forms. Like me or you have mind, each one in this creation have their mind, and the creation is sum total of all minds. The storm hitting the wave in this verse is the play of universal mind. One might have control over one's own mind with sadhana, but one can have no control over universal mind. Even the sage, while in his waking state of consciousness, living in this creation, performing his duties, does see, just sees, it does not experience, he sees the play of universal mind creating mental storm at a universal level. The turbulence faced by waves is due to the play of universal mind, minds of all beings. Seated in front of a fountain, you should remember this flow came in his Bhiwadi days, where in his society there is a sort of fountain, artificial, at the entrance gate. He closed his eyes and visualized a huge fountain. He felt himself as the substratum of the fountain, the huge fountain being the creation, the wind blowing being the disturbance caused due to universal mind. Whereas in the case of fountain, wind would flow from outside the fountain. In this case, where the fountain is this creation, the universal mind was also visualized within that huge creation, huge fountain itself, and the wind was also there within the fountain itself. The sage says, I am not impatient on seeing the same. Suppose if the above fountain somewhere carried his mind also within it, then his mind also must be restless with the jostling of all minds together. The universal mind. But his mind is at the substratum level, merged in the limitless substratum consciousness ocean. If we may recall, we went through a meditative verse where at the end the ego boat got wrecked and sank in the ocean of consciousness. Thus, bringing that visualization here in this verse, when the ego has merged in the ocean consciousness, naturally, the mind, the medium for manifestation of ego, must have also merged in the ocean. Hence, my mind is not along with all other minds. The universal mind getting disturbed by the wind hitting the fountain creation. Here, one may ask, wait. You say your mind has merged, then how you could witness the wind blowing the universal mind? What in you witnesses that wind blowing the universal mind in the creation fountain? When your mind, you say, has merged in the substratum ocean. It has to be understood that while the mind capable of being influenced by raga, dvesha, vasanas, that mind is permanently immersed in the ocean consciousness. The mind acting purely on the basis of sattvic intellect stays at the surface level, till one has to live in the world and carry out his dharma and clear his prarabdha. So the mind is equal to intellect, is the observing faculty, witnessing and seeing the play of universal mind. Hope that doubt is clear now. The universal mind is equal to collective vasanas, and the creation is shaped by this collective vasanas. As per the color and vesture of this collective vasana, the universe is going through allola kallolam, an expression which will come later. That is total chaos and total confusion. There is agitation, there is fear, there is excessive attachment, there is hatred, there is violence outside and within the mind. Everyone wanting to possess things, everyone wanting to be seen as the highest or greatest among all. Everyone is running to possess something or the other, or running sometimes even without knowing why they are running. They run because the world is running and they don't want to be left behind. There seems to be no ceiling on desires, no boundary line for stopping to earn, to amass wealth, no ceiling on acquiring properties, no ceiling on acquiring more and more businesses. If an iota of ego is still there in me, my mind will definitely get affected by the play of the universal mind. And I will not be able to say, I am not impatient or I am not affected. Whereas the mind capable of getting influenced, the lower mind, is the boat God sank, immersed in the ocean consciousness which I exist as now. The sattvic mind is equal to intellect, stands apart from the universal mind, where the universal mind is with collective vasanas, and this standing apart from the universal mind, from the collective vasanas, is perhaps known as the state of kaivalya, cut off from the universal mind and standing apart in aloneness of self. There is no impact of what is happening in the world around me, which I express in a very subtle way in the verse when I say I am not impatient. I am not impatient here means I am not restless, even though there is total confusion with the wind blowing and affecting the universal mind, playing around in the creation. Still, I am not impatient, means I am calm. I am not agitated. I am not restless. I am not disturbed by the play of the universal mind at all. He read somewhere in one of the books that during some major war, everyone in the Ravana ashrama were in panic mode because there was possibility of any bomb falling in the ashram at any time. And Maharishi continued to sit in his usual posture, absolutely calm, absolutely silent, unmoved, even while few others in the ashram were afraid that they may be hit by any bomb at any time. This is the state where the sage says, I am not impatient or I am not disturbed. Here the I is what? The kaivalya state in which I exist is never disturbed. Hari Om Tat Sat.